So I'm going to start with what you're
Yeah.
most well associated with, which is the mustelids in your garden, particularly Stoats and Weasels,
Yeah.
and the setups that you've created. So where did all that start?
It sort of starts every year. I sort of try and set myself a challenge of filming a new subject and actually, you know, almost dedicating that whole year to that one subject. Other little bits of wildlife fit in, but it's not until you actually spend a lot of time with these animals, you actually get to real grips with them and understand them. And I kept, in the back of my mind, it was just really niggling me, Stoats and Weasels. I kept seeing them passing through my garden. I'd grab a camera, I'd try and get them out of the window, I'd try and go outside. And I never, ever have got a decent photograph of a stoat or a weasel up until 6 years ago. And I spotted this female weasel out my studio window, just hunting. And I just thought, I just wondered if that could be the next sort of project. Now that project has then ended up lasting 6 years. So I've got totally obsessed and immersed with the wild stoats and weasels in my garden and trying to understand them. I understand who's related to who, the family history. The only problem I've got is stoats can kill weasels, and that's one of their biggest sort of predators is stoats taking the weasels. So most of the weasels I've had living in my garden, I would say 90% of them have ended up being predated by the stoats, which is a real shame, because I absolutely love both. So the habitats that I've designed for the weasels, where I've got, you know, actually built nesting chambers and feeding boxes and things, they've all got very small holes, so the stoats are unable to get in. But we've literally covered this whole area with cameras, so I can see, you know, when the stoats are arriving from the hedge lines in this sort of beautiful landscape that we have here. So I know when they come in, I spot them on camera, I know which camera they're going to go to next. And then I've got a network of hides in the garden, which some actually have a tunnel underground from a living room, a 6 meter long tunnel that I go through to get into a hide. In there I've got monitors, so I can see what's happening with the stoats or the weasels, and then actually start filming and photographing them. And I've probably now got the biggest bank of wild stone weasel footage and photographs of anyone in the world, I should think, because that's just literally been my life for 6 years, as well as painting.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot, is there? If you kind of Google weasel images, particularly, I know there's a little bit more of stoat, but not a huge amount. They're not an easy subject to work. You know, as you can well attest, they're not an easy subject to work with. So what you've achieved is bonkers, really.
Yeah, they're proper tricky. And the more little nuggets of information I've found out, you know, I've filmed both stoats and weasels mating in the nest. I nearly filmed one giving birth last year, but a male stoat kept going in and pestering her and rumbling her around because after she's given birth, she'll actually come into season straight away. And she was then actually mated a week later. She avoided him, and he actually pushed her out of the nest chamber where she was going to give birth 3 days before she gave birth. But she actually gave birth about 4 meters away from where I'm stood now, underneath a flat roof under some decking here. So she didn't give birth on camera, but she gave birth just a few meters away from where I paint every day. And so that was pretty special in itself. She was just hidden away from the cameras, which was quite frustrating.